Ahsoka Season 2. It ain't happening until 2026. What the hell does that mean? Well, we'll get into it, that and more, on this episode of the Kristian Harloff channel. That's right, Kristian Harloff Show. Let's do it. It's me, it's John Rocha. We're live, and here we go. Welcome back, everybody, to the Kristian Harloff Show. Kristian Harloff, it's me. And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. And joining me, as always, is John Rocha. John, don't even say anything yet. Don't even say a word, because I have been working on this thing today with Luke, trying to get this thing to work. Luke. Now we're going to see. We're going to ask the audience. John, please say something so the audience can tell you if he can hear you or not.
Luke, I am your father.
Okay, so we got no sound on the intro, which is great.
Yes.
That's great news. Now, do we get... Oh, so someone did hear this song. Okay, good. So so people did hear... So maybe no, they didn't hear the intro song? I don't know. Or maybe... I'm just wondering. Okay, so they can hear you. Now, the question is...
Yeah.
Can they hear the music? So, because there was somebody who said they couldn't hear the music, but I wonder if...
Okay, replay the
And there we got that. So... We're back, and look at this. So this is exactly what I'm going to say. They didn't hear the song on it, so I don't know why the song didn't play on that one. But we'll have to. Well, that's something we'll have to remedy. But so far, they saw the song, which is good, and we're going live. And check this out. So this is something that we're going to do. There's that, which I'm very excited about. So we've got that, and then look at this. And then we even have one for you, my friend. So we're getting started. It's something new here on the channel. So thank you guys for joining us on the channel here today. Really
I didn't make
excited.
the opening video, but I made the graphic, so I appreciate that.
Well, it's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff happening. So for people who are wondering, what we're doing here is that we're starting, we're not going live every day yet. John and I have been going live every Monday for quite a while now, and we'll continue to do that.
It's our 100th show. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, no, it may be. And so then we're going to start doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are going to start going live also, but this one's going to this is kind of like the guinea pig for the first one to see what the hell we're what's going on. So we have so much to talk about, and as I mentioned up top there, John, there was the story about Asoka, about season 2 that we'll discuss. But and then for everybody also who's out there right now, and happy holidays to everybody. And by the way, if you want to put in a question, we're going to do the same thing we always do. We'll bring up the questions and we'll get to it. So there's so many stories are breaking as we're even getting on the air here today. But this is the one I wanted to discuss first, and that of course is Ahsoka. Season 2 gets a disappointing update as Manny Jacinto shares hopes for the Acolyte's future. And this is from Comic Book Movie. Ahsoka star Natasha Liu Bordizzo has shared a disappointing update on when Season 2 begins shooting as the Acolyte's Manny Jacinto reveals his hopes to see the canceled Star Wars series continue. They say while some were quick to rejoice at the news, many Star Wars fans were left reeling by Disney's decision to cancel the Acolyte after a second season. Despite a social media outcry and various online petitions, the odds of the series returning for a second season are incredibly low. For those who enjoyed it, that's a shame because the finale left so many unanswered questions and dangling plot threads that might never be addressed. So, Manny Jacinto played the Stranger, a formidable Sith warrior who took Amandla Stenberg's May under his wing, yada, yada, yada. So they had him up on stage, they brought him up, and they said, I don't know, can you hear this when I play this, John? Where is it? That's just Manny. I don't know where the video went, but, here it is.
A Goldman?
Can you hear that when that plays?
No, I cannot.
You can't hear any of this?
Nope.
All right. Well, anyway, he was up on stage, and he basically said that they were asking him what he would want back, and he said season 2 of the Acolyte. Right? And people, I think they made it seem like there's a whole bunch of people screaming. There's some people literally going like this. but either way, good for him that he wants it back. He should. He worked hard on the series. But then the other thing was that they talked about Ahsoka. And now, so Ahsoka, they said, what are the plans for season 2? The series left on a cliffhanger. According to Liz, she says that they expect to start shooting season 2 next summer.
Yeah.
This means we won't see this back until our screens until 2026 at the earliest, resulting in a 3-year gap between the seasons. Am I crazy or is this crazy?
Well, I mean, Iger said when he came back that they were going to slow things down. They were going to take their time. I mean, we only had, just a few weeks ago that it was announced there was going to be a season 2. People are still reeling from the death of Ray Stevenson. So I think there's time, and they want to time it with Mando and Grogu. So I think this fits their time schedule. I'm surprised in terms of, as a Star Wars fan, that we got to wait 3 years, but I'm not really surprised when you think of the timing. They wanted to kind of connect to the Mando and Grogu, which is of course what they did with Rise of Skywalker, right? With that Jedi being able to heal people magically, that kind of thing. And so you see that all being a part of it. So I'm not surprised necessarily. And Manny's thing, I'm also not. Hey, look, you want to get people to love you in the Star Wars fandom. You talk about bringing back a series that some of them want to come back, and I think Manny's heart's in the right place for sure. But they ain't bringing that show back though.
That as far as that goes, there's no world where that show's coming back. We knew this. They made the decision. They're going to stand by it. That's fine. I'm gonna disagree with you, man. I think it's
Okay.
it's an issue that they're waiting this long. Because this isn't a movie. This is a TV show. Most TV shows come back within a year because you want to keep people interested.
Right.
And the story, and by there's so much stuff happening within 3 years that it's like people's interest are already starting to lose in Star Wars, right? So in television, I don't disagree that you're like, well, they want to hold back a little bit. But it also just, to me, shows they have no idea what the ultimate plan is. Because here's the thing. This also, I think, to me, you can go to Vegas and bet that the 2026 movie is definitely not Filoni's, the December one. It is definitely can't be, because it's got to all lead into it. So I guess the argument can be made, well, look, this is what they're going to do. They're going to they're going to have skeleton crew, see how that does.
Yeah.
And then Ahsoka season 2 will eventually lead into, or Mandalorian and Grogu will have some big events and things that happen. That will eventually lead into some of the events of Ahsoka, which will eventually lead into the events of Filoni. It gives you enough time, which I don't disagree with, but it just goes to that same old thing. Stop announcing things.
Yeah.
Because we're announcing a movie, and it's Filoni's movie, and he's going to have this big thing. It's going to be like this big Avengers thing that ends it all. When? We don't know. But when's Ahsoka season 2? At the time of this announcement, it hasn't even been greenlit. Oh, but is that going to happen? We think so. It is. Okay, it is. When? We're not sure. He just finished. Well, when is that going to happen? In a couple of years. How long? About 3 years after the first season. Will anyone care? We hope so. Oh, okay. What else between that? No clue. Who's directing a movie? We're going to probably sign up 87 directors in between. How many of them are going to direct? None of them. Oh, okay. So what do? We don't know. It's literally that chaotic.
Let's get a writer's room together in February for a season 2 of The Acolyte. All right. When's that happening? Well, let's wait until season 1's over. Let's start talking to directors. All right. You guys interested? You available? Yeah, I think it could be interested and available. Hey, guess what? We canceled it. Oh, okay. Right. That's what I mean. So when you hear this again, you're just like, okay, 3 years from now, and TV is different. It seems like when they have it lined in, and because it's Filoni's show, it'll definitely happen. But here's the other problem, is that if you are now putting this show out in 2026, because he's going to have all this time to put this together, when's he going to start working on the movie? Yeah, it's a great question. And it feels like we said, they announced it weeks ago. Have they started working on the scripts already? Have they started putting this all together? There seems like there's going to be some kind of upheaval over there, and they're going to take a year off. So maybe this whole year, next year, is like them putting this all together, shooting the show, shooting the movie. Maybe it's around the same time. I don't know. But, it's a lot. It's a lot to ask of Filoni. I 100% agree with you. And we're already, a lot of us in the Star Wars side of things, going like, is Dave the answer?
Right.
And so now we're going to be investing in 2 separate projects. And what if both of those come out and they're middling or not good or mixed? Then, the Filoni is done in terms of the goodwill, I feel like, overall with the audience, and may want to move them back to animation. So it's a hell of a chance they're taking. I guess he's earned it. I would say that. But if he doesn't get both of these things right, brother, it's a bad sign for Filoni and for Star Wars overall, dude.
I mean, we've discussed it at length here, or we think that they're in that spot right now that they just, everything they hit has to be incredible in order to get everybody back on board, you know. And it's
and I know Favreau is Mando and Grogu. I know that, but Filoni's going to be involved. So
of course, for sure. But he's involved in it no matter what. In the same way the Russo brothers were involved in anything leading up to Endgame, because they're leading up to this big. If you believe it's the Thrawn, you know, heir to the Empire and all that. If you believe that, so who knows? It's like it's just 2026 to me. I think 2025 should have been it. I always think that I knew that it was going to be the 2026 area.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's very curious how this is all going to play out. But
Yeah. Well, and this is why I pushed back on Jeff on the hot mic last week. Like Jeff was like, well, from my Star Wars contact, and Jeff has a very strong Star Wars contact, so I'm not bashing that contact at all. But Jeff was like, oh, they've got a lot of projects in development. They got a lot of stuff they're working on. And I initially pushed back on it because I'm like, okay, cool. They can say all of that, but how much of that do you have faith in at this point? You know? And so I think that's,
well, I think there's two different things.
I wonder if his source told him that just to make it seem like, oh yeah, no, hold on, guys, we got stuff coming, you know. And
well, I think those are two different things, though. What you're saying, though, because development. I mean, as working in development, there's always things in development. There's always things in development. Like you have to in order to have a production. Dude, there are production companies when I was working at Warner Brothers. You know, that like, well, I can just tell you, Joel Silver's company alone, there was always active development of everything, and most things didn't see light of day. And then that was a company because of Dark Castle at the time putting out 3 to 4 movies a year, which is just crazy in general. Most production companies will try to get at least one movie out a year, one or every year or 2 years, try to get one out.
But I get that. I'm just saying
active development, though, John. But active development, all of those companies had various projects open, even if they got one off the ground. So they can be in development. The question is exactly what you're saying, which I agree with you. How much do you have faith in that any of it's going to get off the ground? That's the thing.
That's why I wonder why the source told him that, because I feel like it's a little bit of them doing some brand saving. Because look, the source has a connection, maybe someone, you know, who's very close connected to the people there. So that source maybe, you know, in a way might have just fed that to Jeff so Jeff could put that in his newsletter, and that people are like, oh, well, they've got other projects coming. Oh, cool. What are they developing? What are they working on? So it kind of keeps the brand a little bit excited, or keep the fans excited about the brand a little bit. But, you know, like I said, fine, you're working on stuff, but how much faith do you have that it's actually going to happen or it's going to be any good at this point? And why would you put things in development with a team of people who have consistently shown you that they can't knock it out? The batting percentage is not that strong.
Right.
So it just concerns me to even start to do any of that when you don't have a good team behind you.
Yeah.
You know, I can put all the tactics I want on the pitch or on a ball field or whatever, but if the players aren't really vibing, what's the point?
Oh, we're saying the same thing, because it's like it was in the same thing. To me, it is like, okay, so maybe the source said, look, this is what they're working on. They want to do an Old Republic movie. They have this. They had a meeting with so and so about doing a Mace Windu thing. They had this and this. This is all the stuff, and that's all true, all in development. The question is, like you said, how much of it will actually get put into play, and what will, and how fast before it's canceled? You know,
right?
So
exactly.
Yeah, but and then to jump back to the Acolyte thing, I hope Manny does a lot of great things. He was the best part of the damn show, so they should. I hope he gets a lot of work, and I hope that they can, in the same way that they work certain Marvel actors who have come back. I hope they can work him back into Star Wars if he really wants to be in just like a different role or something. You know,
I mean, you could make that character
do his own thing,
part of something down the road.
Yeah,
I don't know how, I don't know where. But there is still a possibility with that character, because I think just like Ewan McGregor, look, I know people now revisit the prequels and they love the prequels, but what I grew up with, the prequels, they were not beloved. And Ewan was the one that everybody said he was great in the prequels. No one else really was, right? And so he was able to survive all of that. Of course, that's changed now. People reappreciate Hayden and Padme. That's fine, you know. But like Natalie Portman, rather. But like the situation here is Manny came out the star to that thing, kind of like Ryan Gosling out of Barbie, right? People were talking about Ryan more than they were talking about Margot Robbie. So, okay, great. Do something with that character, or have something with that character. Maybe down the road, they could do something with that character and maybe have pop-ins from people from the Acolyte. I don't know, but I don't think you should lose Manny Jacinto. I'm with you. Either do something with that character down the road or give him something new in Star Wars. And if I was Marvel, I'd be looking at that kid immediately, man. Immediately.
Yeah, me too. Look, I think he's great. I think you guys thought he was great, regardless of what you thought the show was. But put your comments in there. Tell us what you think. Do you think that this is something that is a problem or no, because they're leading up to Filoni's movie and everything else too. They're actually getting things. This is what they should be doing. They should be taking their time. Put your comments in there. Tell us exactly what you think. All right. Now, as we are going to get to another topic, you mentioned your co-host on the Hot Mic, Jeff Snyder. Well, he broke a pretty big one right before we went on the air.
Hey.
And that's that from Comic Book Movie here. This is Josh Brolin is rumored to have been offered the Hal Jordan role in the Lanterns series. Now, a new rumor doing the rounds right now is claiming that Josh Brolin has been offered the role of Hal Jordan in the upcoming DCU Lantern series.
Yeah.
So Mark Cassidy writes, we had heard a noteworthy name was being sought out to play veteran Green Lantern Hal Jordan in the upcoming DCU Lantern series, and there's a new rumor claiming that the studio has set its sights on a former MCU actor for the role. This is according to Nexus Point News, who have broken some pretty big DC-related scoops over the first few weeks. Josh Brolin has been offered the part. Through the site notes, he hasn't actually entered talks and might well decline. Brolin is no stranger to the comic book movie superhero genre, playing Thanos in the Infinity Saga and Cable in Deadpool 2. He's also technically played a DC character in the Jonah Hex movie. Casting is also underway for a black actor between 27 to 35 to play Jon Stewart. The younger Lantern Jordan takes under his wing. Academy Award-winning Lost and Watchmen creator Lindelof is working on the pilot script along with Ozark showrunner Chris Mundy and acclaimed comic book writer Tom King. Yada, yada, yada. Production on Lanterns is currently set to commence in Q1 of 2025. Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner, who will make his debut in Gunn Superman reboot, is expecting to have a supporting role in the series. Earlier Green Lantern TV series was in the works before Gunn and Safran took over as co-head of DC Studios, and that version was created by Berlanti and would have starred Finn Wittrock as Guy Gardner. Hal Jordan was previously played by Ryan Reynolds in the infamous 2011 Green Lantern movie. So this one is the story of a couple of Green Lanterns, Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan. We have a few other Lanterns prepped in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective, with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DCU. So they have an update. Jeff Snyder's also reporting that Brolin has been offered the role. So Snyder says, as hinted in my newsletter, Brolin has been offered the role of Hal Jordan in HBO's big-budget sci-fi Lanterns, plus which one of Damon Lindelof's Watchmen collaboration is being eyed to direct the pilot. Okay, so you were pretty... You don't think that Brolin's going to... Well, A... do you think he's going to take it, or do you think he's not even going to be offered Jordan?
Well, no, I think he's probably been offered it. I mean, I trust Jeff and I trust Nexus Point News. They've broken some good stuff over the last few months, but like, I don't know that he's the right fit for Hal Jordan. That's my issue. Okay. I don't see him as a Hal Jordan. He's
too
like
gruff.
He's like a gruff Bruce Wayne. He's like a Batman Beyond Bruce Wayne. That's the kind of Josh Brolin role that fits him with his gruffness and his tough love approach. Hal Jordan is a cocky pilot. That's Ryan was completely miscast with all his little jokes that didn't work. You've got to find someone who's got Nathan. Everyone wanted Nathan to do it. I think he voiced it over in the animated series, but like he's kind of around the age of Brolin, so you could have argued that why didn't you just give it to Fillion? But clearly they want a big name. Josh Brolin is a big name. He's been in a bunch of big franchises recently. Dune is one of our favorites, Kristian, and so he was part of that. But like, I understand why you go this direction. But clearly, because I heard from my source that they weren't going above 55 years old. Okay. But clearly that changed, and now they've gone with Josh. They want to do a Lethal Weapon thing, as Jeff pointed out. So they're looking at a younger African-American actor, a black actor. And so where are they going to go with that? Because a lot of people were thinking the kid from F1 was going to be a part of it, but he's 30. And Kelvin Harrison Jr. is 30. So where are they looking for the young black actor to step in? But clearly they want someone who's got some kind of weight and power and looks like he could be like a guardian of the universe, for lack of a better term. And so I think I understand the offer. I just don't think the energy of Josh Brolin fits Hal Jordan, in my opinion.
I think it's a fair take. And I think that the only thing that I will say is that Josh Brolin is funnier than people give him credit for.
True.
He's got more personality than people give him credit for. Like, where I shouldn't say that, but I mean more. The gruff thing is a fair, assessment of him because of the roles that he's played and a lot of the roles that he's played. But when you look at him in interviews and stuff too, he's a really funny, witty dude.
Oh, totally.
And he's a really good actor. So if he could kind of change it up and say, look, this is what we're looking for. We don't want to do that same kind of Sicario, this, that. We don't want to do that stuff. We want to do a little bit more We want you to be a little bit more relatable, more likable in one of those things. And maybe they can get him to do it. I don't know. Maybe they can, but maybe I don't know. But I think that they're right. I think he's going to pass on it anyway.
I think so.
Yeah,
you think he's going to pass on
I think he's going to pass. I think he's going to pass. What TV has he done?
Outer Range was the most recent two things that he's done, and
I
I
remember
can't
that.
cancel after season 2.
Yeah, look. When you're able to work, in the way that this guy is, where he's built such a career for himself, where he's wanted it. If he wanted to, he can book a movie tomorrow. You know, if he was like, hey, 100%. I want to be in a movie tomorrow, and I want to be in this movie. All right, we'll get you on the phone with Disney tomorrow. We'll put you in this big movie. But he's that type of actor, right? He's got that kind of career. The bigger actors like this don't love working TV. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of, you know what I mean? It's a grind.
Yeah. But you wonder how much. What's going to be the time commitment? That's a great point, Kristian.
Yeah.
What's going to be the time commitment for him at his age? Does he want to do it? There's going to be a lot of special effects, a lot of retakes, a lot of shots and setting up shots and figuring out shots. How much of that does he want to be involved in? And how was his? I mean, he was already Thanos. Right. He was already Cable. So this would be what, his fourth, if you include Jonah Hecht's fourth superhero venture here. And I'm not counting films. I mean, playing the characters. So that's a lot, you know. And clearly they like working with him because he was in Dune. That's a Warner Brothers franchise. So clearly they like working with him over there at Warner Brothers. So this is an interesting choice. But I mean, Hal Jordan is the cocky quarterback. He's the 80s villain with the fucking collar turned up. He's the preppy, arrogant kid who always gets the girl.
I think Brolin could do that.
Rich, elitist guy.
You don't think Brolin could pull that off?
Brolin is blue collar, man. Brolin is wearing Wrangler jeans and carrying the sledgehammer with the hard hat. He is not wearing the jacket.
You're stereotyping him. You're stereotyping him. But who knows? We'll see.
It's not a bad stereotype.
It's not a bad stereotype, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. I ask you guys if you think it's a good choice to have Josh Brolin
as Iceman. That's your fucking Hal Jordan. Sorry.
Yeah, you love cursing, huh?
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Well, anyway, I ask you guys what you think. Go ahead and put your comments in there. Tell me what you think of whether or not you think Brolin is the right choice, or they're going to get somebody else. We are going to get to some other topics in just a moment, and I also wanted to tell you that we're taking your questions, as we've told you many times over, what we do here on the Monday show, and we're going to wind up doing on every show. Once we go live every day, is we'll take your questions after we finish the main topics. And before we do it, let me tell you guys about two of our wonderful sponsors. I've told you many times over about AG1 and our friends over at Tushy. Well, I'll tell you about both of them. Here you go. And I got to tell you about AG1. You guys know AG1. I mean, if you've been listening to this show long enough, you know that I love AG1. And people keep asking me. They notice. John even said when I started, new look, 20 pounds I lost. One of those reasons, AG1 became part of my routine. Because for a long time, I wasn't paying attention to what was going on in my body. It just wasn't. For me, I read labels. I verify that everything is up to the quality I need. And that is why I've stayed with AG1 for as long as I have. It is a research-backed foundational nutrition supplement. And it delivers daily nutrients, gut health support, and is backed by multiple research studies so you can trust what you're putting into your body. Because I like coffee. I used to drink so much coffee to keep up, but I don't need it anymore, not as much. Because after drinking AG1, I have realized that I have all this energy and I need less coffee to power my day. It turns out I'm not alone. Because in a research study, 91% of people noticed they needed less coffee after 60 days of drinking AG1. 97% of people in a research study felt more energy after 30 days of drinking AG1. That's crazy. 91% of participants noticed that they need less coffee after 60 days of drinking AG1. That's me. Energy is a majorly important reason why it comes to I need so much energy for parenting. I can tell you that right now. AG1 contains ingredients to sustain energy so you can be the best version of yourself within each day. And it really has worked for me, and it's helped me on the plane, everything. It's easy, it's satisfying to start your journey with AG1. But if you go to AG1
and you can get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. You got to go to drinkag1.com/bigthing. drinkag1.com/bigthing. It's the one product I trust to support my whole body health. It's AG1.
So many comments lately about everybody that's buying the Tushies. And I see why you're buying them. I love them. You love them. Chris Carr loves them. Everybody loves the Tushies. I'm so excited to get you guys to get a Tushy that I almost thought about doing this from the bathroom. But then I was like, no, I want you to get it. It's terrible. That's a terrible thing for me to do. But I want to do it because I want to show you how much I love the Tushies. Check this out alone. Look at this. Just open up the toilet lid. You spray the water right in your tush. It's wonderful. Look at that. That's how it works. It's that easy. You put it on the toilet. You open it up. You spray the water on your butt. It's lovely. It's going to change the way that you think about cleaning up after a spicy dump in a coffee shop or a porta potty during a music festival. You're going to want to take Tushy with you everywhere, and thankfully you can. Because the Tushy Travel, it's collapsible, it's durable, and discreet portable bidet that gives you the most confident clean on the go. I keep telling people about these things. Everybody are getting the Tushies now, and everyone's like, oh, man, can I use your code? Can I use your code? Of course you can. It's the best. I got one. I've got 2 in my house right now, and it is so wonderful. We feel classy in this house. It's got a 3-stream nozzle for a total clean. It's got a new air mesh bag for discreet travel, faster dry time. It comes in 5 new colors. Every Hello Tushy bidet comes with a 30-day hassle-free return and 12-month warranty. So stop wiping until you bleed. Join the 2 million butts who have already made the switch to Tushy. For a limited time only, our listeners get 10% off your entire order, but you got to use that code BIGTHING. 10% off Hello Tushy, HELLTUSHY.com with the promo code BIGTHING. All right. Thank you to our friends over at AG1 and, of course, Tushy. All right, so John, you hear you've been on this show now long enough, and you know me also. So when I'm backing something, it's because it has value to me. You know what I mean? And I believe that the audience is going to have value. So that's why I love AG1 so much, and that's why. And I've kept the weight off, man.
I love it.
Yeah, and I got a clean rear end now because of it too. So there you go. So AG1 and Tushy, I highly recommend it. And I tell people they can help out the show very much so, and they get themselves something wonderful. So there you go.
There you go. Nice.
There you go. All right, so let's get to the next story here, which there was something that I thought was interesting. Did you see this thing about Ian McKellen?
Yeah, let's talk about this.
I'm going to talk about this because I loved his comments about it, and I love the idea behind it also. But here's the overall story. Once again, this one is from Dark Horizons here about the great Ian McKellen. And here it is. So Ian McKellen has been asked to return as Gandalf. So the 85-year-old Sir Ian McKellen made headlines earlier this year where he fell off the stage while playing Shakespeare's Falstaff in Robert X. Player King's play on the West End. Since then, he's been recovering and says he has no plans to quit acting just yet. He was speaking with The Big Issue. He revealed that he has already been approached to come back to one of his most iconic roles, Gandalf. He said, I've just been told there are going to be more films and Gandalf will be involved, and they hope that I'll be playing him. When? I don't know. What that script is? Not written yet. So they better be quick. The film he's referring to is The Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum, which sees Andy Serkis both reprising his role and directing the project, which is targeting a 2026 theatrical release, 5 months earlier than Ahsoka Season 2. Oh, no. The Lord of the Rings original trilogy director, Peter Jackson, will produce the movie alongside his longtime producing partners, Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens. On film, McKellen most recently appeared in Anna Tucker's The Critic and narrated 2 episodes of Peacock's first season of Ted. Okay. So, John, you hear this and you hear his comments, and I think he's spot on, right? It's like, yeah, of course, you can get him. But he's 85 years old. The poor guy fell off the stage recently, too. He's moving a little slower, as you do when you're 85 years old. And if you get him, you film his scenes first.
Yeah. With a lot of de-aging. Do you
need to? Do you need to de-age Gandalf?
I don't know. For the time frame?
Yeah, he's kind of immortal. You could just change. I mean, you could do a couple things here and there, but you wouldn't have enough beard makeup on him. You wouldn't even tell. But
Yeah.
you just got to. But you talk about long schedules, and you talk about there's only how much do you put him in. You got to take into consideration he's 85 years old, probably 86 or something by the time you start shooting. Shoot his scenes first.
Yeah. Get him out of the way first. Make sure he's comfortable. Make sure he's giving you what you need, and then move on to everyone else. But like, it's a smart move. You want to get people excited, you bring him back. Don't forget, Andy isn't a seasoned filmmaker. Like, this is still new in his change in his career here to do some more directing. So why not bring an old friend back? Why not bring someone you've worked with for quite some time that is also one of the most beloved played one of the most beloved characters ever on film? So it makes all the sense in the world. But like when James Earl Jones came back to play Vader, don't be expecting the 85 to be 65 or 75. Those days are long past. So, it's going to be a different performance for sure. But why not do it if you can do it?
100%.
I want him back as Magneto in Secret Wars. I would love to see that.
I that one I don't know if he would do, because I think with Gandalf at least you could just have him stand here with the stick, say a few cool things, and that's it. It's like you don't really. You could do. I think you're right. I think
the sticks.
stand here with the stick. Do me a favor and just don't fall, please. Don't fall, sir. We need you okay. And I think that it's a smart move to get him if you can get him.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be it's gonna be they gotta move. Like he said, he knew it too. He's like you gotta hurry up and do it fast.
Yeah.
So but I'm excited. I mean, are you excited for that movie overall?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not the biggest fan of the Lord of the Rings films.
Right.
I like the second one a lot. I like elements of the third one for sure.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of the first one. I like the Hobbit films a little bit better. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but I hope it all works. It's only because of Andy. If it was Peter Jackson coming back, I think I'd be really excited.
Okay.
But because Andy is kind of a still new filmmaker, I'm nervous about what they're going to create.
Yeah, I mean, I
hated his Venom. His Venom was effing terrible.
Wasn't great. I do like Andy Serkis a lot.
Yeah,
I love him as a person, love him as an actor, and I think that I never saw it. Did you see the Jungle Book that he did?
Yeah, I did. I got an hour into it, and I was like, I'm feeling nothing here.
No,
I moved on from.
Okay, well, I don't love that. I mean, I didn't see it, but
when Favreau's is so good.
Yeah, that's true. It was too close. It was too close.
It was so good, that Favreau version.
It really was. Okay, so I wonder, and I ask you guys, what do you think? Do you think that this was a move that they should make? Should they definitely get Gandalf back? Should they? Ian McKellen, should he come back? And if they do, it's something we didn't really discuss. Here, before we move on, I asked John that. If they decide that, okay, if he's like, okay, I feel a little too old for this, and it's a big schedule. What do you do if you need Gollum? I mean, not Gollum. If you need Gandalf, do you recast, or do you ask him for permission to do the deep fake? Like, what do you do if you need him? If you've written it at this point, what do you do?
What's the most recent thing they did where they put like the combination? Oh yeah, like we just saw in Alien Romulus, right? If they do a better version of that, then I think it's possible. I think you can make it work, right? A little bit of the Luke situation as well, with Mark Hamill coming back to a degree in what they did at the end of Mando season 2. So I think there's you can make an effort there to make it seem seamless, and certainly the technology is there. Hopefully they find better people than what we've seen in recent efforts. So I think that's the route you go with. My question to you is this: why are they even talking to him? Is this a Robert Downey Jr. situation? I mean, I like the Hobbit movies, but I know a lot of people didn't like the Hobbit movies. And I wonder if when you've got the Rings of Power series I've heard no buzz on this for season 2. So do you think like they are going to the greatest hits quickly, and this is a way to kind of take the pressure off of Andy, bring him back? Because if we start hearing other people coming back, at that point you start to wonder, like, well, what is this?
It would make sense that Gandalf is around during this time. Yeah, he knew, he was aware of Gollum. He knew. I think I wouldn't be. The greatest hits doesn't hit for that one. because he would be around, and I think that in the same way that I didn't get upset and I actually thought it made sense that Luke came back for the Mandalorian, because
I like that.
Why are you bringing him back? You just relying on Luke Skywalker? No, because he's the only Jedi running around the place, and he's like the most powerful one. He would be aware of this guy. He would be aware of it. It'd be still in the same way that it's so stupid that Yoda doesn't show up until the last 6 seconds of the Acolyte. He would be right. His nose would be right in this thing, going, "What the hell's going on, guys?"
Yep.
Not at the end, "Hey, we kept this thing from you the whole time, Chief." It's like, canceled, we are. Because you waited too long to put me in the show.
Accomplice you've made me.
Yeah. Stupid. So that's, I think that it makes sense. So then I ask you, what do you think? Do you think that we should do this? Do you think that Gandalf should come back? Or, is John right? Is it one of these things where maybe it is just trying to rely on nostalgia because they want to get people excited about Lord of the Rings again? Put your comments in there. Tell us exactly what you think. As I mentioned, there's a ton of stories I kind of broke today, right, as I was doing this. And this was the other one. And this was that Anya Taylor-Joy, Furiosa herself, she wants to play Elsa in Frozen. She wants to play the live-action version of Elsa. Furiosa and the Queen's Gambit star Anya Taylor-Joy says she is keen to play Princess Elsa in the live-action version of Disney's animated hit Frozen. 2 Frozen films have been released so far, with a third and likely fourth on the way. The 2013 original grossed $1.28 billion from a $150 million budget and became a massive pop culture phenomenon. The sequel, though not quite as beloved, grossed even more, $1.4 billion. Though Disney has yet to announce plans for a Frozen live-action remake, it's very likely to happen at some point. Speaking with Vogue Hong Kong, the 28-year-old explained why she's keen for the part, which would be different to any role she's done before, and that's part of the appeal. She says, "I really want to do a musical because I'm a little too obsessed with my current job. I love the challenge of completing impossible tasks. I think that's incredibly motivating for me. So the idea of being able to sing, dance, and act at the same time is really exciting to me. I think Frozen's going to be great. Shooting ice cubes out of your hands can be a lot of fun, and you'll be the favorite at every kid's birthday party. All my siblings have kids now, so I would love for them to be able to say my aunt is Elsa. That would be great." The third animated Frozen is expected to hit cinemas in 2027. Okay, so you know me. I don't believe that the movie star really sells tickets these days.
Yeah. And rare one that does.
Anya Taylor-Joy, who was phenomenal in Furiosa. One of my main arguments was that not a household name. I think with this comment, I think you greenlight live action Frozen tomorrow, because this is perfect casting.
Right. Because she wouldn't be the main star, right? Anna is your main star.
Yeah.
Elsa is the showier role.
Yeah.
So if you've got someone like Anya Taylor-Joy and her talent and her incredible abilities to play Elsa, an ice queen, and certainly there are elements of Anya's performances at times that can be a bit like kind of push you away, like you saw in Queen's Gambit. She can play this in her sleep.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. Yeah, like if you can get Anya,
she's got the body build for it. She's got like the look, everything about it. She is. I mean, when I read that article, I haven't even read anything else that she wanted to play Elsa, and I'm like, if I'm Bob Iger, I'm like, make this movie.
Yeah,
make this movie. Like a Frozen live action film will make a ton of cash. Well, it's too close to Frozen 3. Who cares? It's like you hear those numbers, 1.2 and 1.4 for just the two. People lost their minds when they announced the third one. Make the third film, do a live action. The only thing that I would say is I don't know if Anya Taylor-Joy is a great singer. She clearly has to have confidence in herself because she wants to do this role. But that Idina Menzel, that song ain't easy to hit.
No, you're right.
So
you're right. Because she's such a great Broadway singer.
The challenge alone is going to be there for her, and I think that's what makes her such a good actress. She likes to challenge herself.
Yeah,
I love this casting. I absolutely love it. I think that it is, if it actually happens, I think it's brilliant, and I think that now I wonder though. I guess that's the question I ask you: is why does she say this? Does she say this because she's doing one of these things where she's making a pitch for herself, or is this something that's been kind of floating around the place?
Oh, I think she's making a pitch, and I think her people have maybe heard something, and maybe Disney's reached out, and they're like, we're talking to a few people. And so this is her way of being like, I want it. I'm telling you I want it. Let's get to the table and figure this out. And so I think it's smart. You're running it up the flagpole, too, to see people's responses to it. So it helps her in the negotiating stage of the situation. So I think it's smart all around for her to play it, or for her to say it, so that she can play it down the road. So yeah, I'm 100%. This is a smart move by a very intelligent actress, regardless of how she's like, oh my God, you guys love me, which is all I think is very authentic as opposed to Taylor Swift. I buy it
nice
Anya,
Taylor Swift,
but I think Anya is also very shrewd and smart, and so she knows the business. She knows what she's doing. It's not an accident that she's found her way into so many different franchises and has been able to knock it out of the park in all of them when she appears in it. So yeah,
I think somebody just said it in the chat. I think, you know who would be a great Anna?
Who?
Kaylee Spaney.
Ooh, that's an interesting choice.
Anya Taylor-Joy as Elsa and Kaylee Spaney as Anna would be next level live action.
I like that. I actually like that.
And wow, that would be that's a live action. I don't get excited for these live action Disney movies. That would be a good movie. That would be a good movie with those two if they can pull it off. And then I think you'd probably have to get Josh Gad back as Olaf though. I think you'd have to.
Fine.
You don't like Josh Gad?
I'm not a Josh Gad guy.
He annoys you?
It's like don't make me do this. Don't
go ahead. Might as well go. You haven't had a rant yet. You might as well go and do this one. Go off on Josh Gad. That wouldn't have been on my bingo. It wouldn't have been on my bingo card though.
It's like Belushi, Farley, and then it becomes a law of diminishing returns by the time you get to Josh Gad. No offense, I just have never been a Josh Gad guy, and I thought him in Beauty and the Beast was like the worst part of the film.
Whoa.
But I love that song. I mean, that's one of my favorite karaoke songs. I will sing in summer all the time because it's in my range. I'm not a great singer, but I can hit those notes. So I like his portrayal of Olaf, but I don't know. I think it's a new live action, so why not just recast everybody? So why would you bring him back? Get somebody better. Get somebody better who's out there. He was, get a young actor out there to play the role. Young.
It's a voice role. You better bet that he's coming back. It's voice. They're gonna Olaf. He'll be back as Olaf if they do it. And by the way, this has not even been announced. This movie.
Yeah, I know.
We're already talking about it and casting it as if it's happened. But anyway, so I'll ask you.
Would be interesting too.
Who's that?
The princes. Who would play the princes?
I know that. Well, there's so much.
Young guys.
I'll tell you who I just interviewed and who's also already kind of played. I'd like to see him play less of the. He could have played. Who's the? I forget the character's name in Frozen. Who turns out to be the turd who's on his boyfriend.
Hans or something like that. Yeah. Let me look. I'll look it up.
Well, yeah, isn't Hans?
Who are you thinking of?
I'm not Hans, but yeah, I think maybe it is Hans is the bad guy. Billy Magnuson, I'd like to see play but he might be a little older though. Billy
Magnuson would be a great choice if it was
Sven, but he's a little. I think Billy Magnuson.
Sven, right?
Yeah,
right.
but
Sven's a good guy,
he'd be
right?
good. Yeah, Sven's a good guy. Yeah, no, Kristoff is the guy. Kristoff is a good guy. He's the good Sven guy? Is the freaking reindeer. Sven's the reindeer.
So I was right. Hans. It's Hans who was the bad guy. So I was right. Sorry about that.
Yeah. But I think Billy Magnuson's like 40 though, so I think you'd probably want to cast a little younger. I don't know, but either way, fun nonetheless. I ask you guys, do you think that this is something that should happen? Is Anya Taylor-Joy the right call for Elsa? Do you think they should make a live action if they're going to do it? What do you say? Put your comments in there. Tell us. We got to hear about it. We're going to do one or two more stories before we get to your questions. And I see we already have a bunch of super chats coming in there, as I mentioned to you guys earlier before. We go through, you've already started sending in some, or I think we have over almost 20 already right now. So we'll be answering all your questions as we get to them. So we're just going to finish up a few more stories. Now, this is something, John, we talked about. You and I talked about this the other day, and I couldn't believe it when someone said how much money that Clooney and Brad Pitt were getting for Wolves.
Yeah, $35 million each.
That's what the report was. Well, Clooney says that's not necessarily true. There was a report that came back from the New York Times that indicated that George Clooney and Brad Pitt were getting $35 million each to star in the Wolves film on Apple TV, on the Apple TV Plus service. The John Watts-directed film screened at the Venice Film Festival today to a 5-minute standing ovation. That screening marked one of the few cinema screenings for the film, which is otherwise going direct to streaming on Apple TV. and that's coming at the end of the month. Speaking at a press conference for the film, Clooney shot down the pay story, saying it was considerably less than what was reported, $32 million, after calling it an interesting article. He said, whatever her source was for our salary, it is millions and millions and millions of dollars less than what was reported. I am only saying that because I think it's bad for our industry if that's what people think is a standard bearer for salaries. I think that's terrible. It'll make it impossible to make films. The response comes a year after Clooney spoke during the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strike that actors and writers in large numbers have lost their ability to make a living, and the strikes were an inflection point. Wolfs sees the actors playing two competing fixers who are hired to cover up the same high-profile crime and forced to work together as the night starts spiraling out of control. He said, yes, we wanted it to be released in theaters. We've had some bumps along the way. That happens. When I did The Boys in the Boat, we did it for MGM, and then it ended up being for Amazon, and we didn't get a foreign release, which was a surprise. There are elements of this that we're figuring out. You guys are all in this too. We're all in this industry, and we're trying to find our way past COVID and everything else. So there's some bumps along the way. Clooney also spoke about the film only getting a very limited theatrical release on September 20th, 1 week before its streaming. He says it was a bummer. And then he added some other stuff inside of the video there. So, okay, what the more important thing here, though, John, is his comments, right? And he said that the woman's report, because what he said, he doesn't come off as a dishonest person to me. He just, I don't know.
No, I like money.
He doesn't come off as a dishonest person. So he said, like, it's significantly less than what it was because, and he followed that up by saying what I said the other day, what I was so shocked about. I was like, how that is so bad for the business if they're doing $70 million for two actors for a movie that's barely even getting a theatrical release. It's just Apple just putting money in there. And he said, yeah, it's bad for business if that's the standard of it. So, well, what does that mean? If it's millions and millions of dollars, what is it? It's still $20 million is still a lot for that. If it's still $40 million for both of those guys to do that movie, that's still too much money for me, to be honest.
There's a great sequence in the Chicago musical where the voiceover guy goes, ladies and gentlemen, now the two-step by Roxy. And you see them dance around and backtrack the things they've done or said and try to give a new narrative for what they've done in the musical. And so I think this is what George Clooney is doing. Because if you listen to this, and look, I can't stretch out anymore and do mental gymnastics at my age, but what he's essentially doing is mental gymnastics. So God love him, because he's saying, no, it wasn't that much. It was millions and millions because it didn't get a theatrical release and because it didn't do this. So it might have been 35 initially, but it went down from 35 by the time they kind of settled everything and they gave money back. He says they gave money back to the film. So clearly they had negotiated a particular rate. And I know the New York Times, on all the sides of political spectrum, people have questions about their reporting, but I kind of think with something like this, they're on point with this. I think their sources, and he only said one source, but I'm sure, you kind of triple check, quadruple check your sources at big publications like that. And so I kind of take her reporting more truthfully. Yeah. I think what Clooney is saying is that, oh, we had to give money back and we dropped the price, so we're not making that much. But I mean, you can't say, oh, this is a terrible thing to put out there when Apple has a years-long history of overpaying for all of their movies.
It's the same thing I said to you the other day, and I already see it in the comments. I've seen it from like 2 or 3 different people. Someone says, why are we pocket watching? Who cares? Another person is like, why do we care? You should care. If you should we worry if the movies are going to be good? Of course. Why do you think? Well, exactly. Clooney said it himself. Why do you think the whole reason? Well, why do you care so much about the budget? Because if they're spending all of this money on this budget to overspend, they can't make these movies work. If they're really good, like look at a movie that costs like Last Mission Impossible. They're lucky that they got the next one off the road because it's Tom Cruise and everything too. That movie costs way too much money for what it costs. And there are certain people you can make a movie. Let's say you make it for $300 million. And then it only makes you lose money on it because it still made a ton of money, but you lost money because all the marketing and everything. It needs to make $800 million. It costs too much money. We can't make another one. So the quality and the thing that you liked and the things that you were getting invested in, you were not able to get invested in anymore, and you can't watch it anymore because they overspent on this stuff. It hurts the business overall because they overprice things in general. They start to build up this stuff. It also hurts the theatrical runs of what theaters are paying for, how much they're spending on movie prices in general, because they got to pay for their movies because they're overspending on budgets. It is very important to you as a movie watcher why you should care for the budget, because it hurts quality. Because a lot of times too, what they'll do is they'll spend $300-400 million on a movie, and they're like, well, because we're spending this much, we've got to spend it on this big action scene and cut out the stuff with the dialogue and make sure that, and it hurts the quality of your movie. So that's why a lot of times big budget doesn't mean great story. So anytime I see somebody like, oh, why do you care about budget? If you don't, you're not paying attention to the way this stuff works. It's not a matter of going, oh, I'm not crunching numbers in the back going, oh, you know, you guys are spending too much. This is ridiculous. I'm going to lose my job. I don't care about that. I care because it's like it's hurting the industry overall and it's hurting creative. That's the thing. That's what people don't understand.
It's all relative, brother. If you overpay for the top, everybody below the top pays the price for the overpayment at the top.
Yep.
That's how it works. Screw the movie business. Put it in any context that you want, any business. If you overpay the executives at the top because they have valued themselves at a certain rate and the company is willing to negotiate the higher rate, the people below aren't going to be able to make the raises, everyone's going to have to wait their turn longer in order to get a shot at making more money. That's how it works in all the businesses. So if you do something like this, I mean, we just talked about Ahsoka season 2. If Ahsoka season, I'm sorry, not Ahsoka season 2, The Acolyte. If The Acolyte had been made for $80 million, they would have probably been more open to bringing back a season 2 at $80 million.
Of course.
Rather than $180 million.
Dude,
so those are those things. If you spend too much and the quality is terrible, that affects everything across the board. That's why you watch the money here.
100%, because it's like, especially when it comes to television. We're talking about movies. Like movies is one thing. Movies, like I think we made it clear as far as why movies count. And TV, if you, and just to reiterate, it depends on who you're aiming for. If you're like, well, I want to do, there's a particular, you go and you're a director and writer and you say, well, we are aiming towards this audience and we're going here. You have to look and say, okay, well, this is what you have. If we don't really care about a size of the audience that's going to watch this, because it's going to turn some people away, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But we got to make this thing for like $30-40 million. And if we do that,
and more chances with lower budgets than you can with higher.
And you can do it. And let's do 4 episodes at $10 million a piece. And we'll do a 4 episode, and I'll let you do 50-minute episodes. And then as long as we hit this amount of views, and we're good. At 180 million, everybody needs to watch this show, guys. Yeah. Everybody. So what we're doing here, I don't think everybody's going to watch it, and then they don't, and then they don't get a season 2, and then people wonder and they're tweeting what happened. Yeah. So anyway, okay. Last story here before we get to the questions, Joe.
Yeah.
We're back to box office. Back to box office.
I'm not betting a damn thing.
You better not bet anything because I told you. You're not listening to me.
$2 billion. $2 billion.
You think it's going to make $2 billion?
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Because you didn't even think it was going to make $1 billion anymore. All right. 5 weeks out from the release of Todd Phillips' Joker, Folie, Deux, it has appeared on the earliest tracking sites, and it looks set for a massive box office opening.
Oh, yeah.
Box Office Theory is reporting that the film is targeting domestic opening weekend in the 120 to 150 million range, with their estimate being $130 million result. That's decidedly above the 96.2 that the film opened to in 2019. That's a movie that is currently the 5th highest R-rated debut in history, behind the 3 Deadpool films and the first It movie. Though Deadpool and Wolverine will hold on to the crown for R-rated films with its $211 million opening back in July, the Joker sequel could come in second as the other 3 films are only separated by several million, about 123 to 132. It's also lacking competition. Short of next weekend's likely 100 million debut for Beetlejuice, there's no other major openers in weeks aside from the more kid-skewing Transformers 1 in late September, which is expected to earn around $37 million in its debut weekend. Even October should give the film a pretty clear run until Venom: The Last Dance on October 25th. So I mean, this movie, John, you didn't think it was going to make a bill.
I did.
You did? You did? Okay.
A lot of people didn't think it would make a bill. I think it's going to make it.
I'm not going to quote you on that one because I don't know. But yeah, this movie's going to do hand over fist.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I see people going like, oh, I don't know. It's a musical. I don't know if I want to watch. The same people said, oh, I don't know. It's a movie about the Joker that's not really tied to the DCU. I don't know if I want to watch. You're all going to go. You're all going to go. And if Todd Phillips has done as good of a job as he did in the last one, this thing is going to make money hand over fist. And the fact that it doesn't have any competition, I actually think the 138 is kind of low. I would be surprised if it's not at 150 or higher, because Deadpool and Wolverine blew the doors off people's expectations. The what was the one with Blake Lively blew the doors off people's expectations. So this is a year that is kind of weak for movies to a degree, and because there aren't that many coming out in competition with each other, people are more than willing to go over and over and over again to the movie theater, not feel like they're missing out or having to go to another movie. So I think this thing, if it's great, I think people are going to go multiple times through the weekend and support it. So I think 150 is more believable in my opinion.
I think 140, 150 is realistic and could happen. I don't know about multiple viewings for the Joker because it's not the same kind of lighthearted laughing fest that Deadpool is. This is the first movie I love. Not an easy rewatch. It's a great movie, and I really enjoy watching it when I see it. But you gotta know what kind of mental state you're going to be in going in and going out. and so that's the same thing with this one. It is, but it's like this isn't a movie that you're like, oh, I want to go and laugh my ass off again and go and have and feel like Deadpool and Wolverine's a fun movie to watch in the theater. It's just a fun movie. I can't imagine this is going to be fun. I can imagine it's going to be just watching it like a spectacle.
Gaga. I mean, people could be curious to see what kind of Harley Quinn they do.
That's why I think a lot of people are going to go. And then I think what's going to happen is that people are going to go, is it any good? It's a musical. And the people who went to see it are going, you got to see this movie. And I think it's going to play that way. But I think it gets close to a bill, especially with this freaking opening that they're going to have surpassing the first. And if it's really good, the question is how much of a musical is it going to be? Right? Like you and I, you got us on board with musicals. It's gonna be fun. But there are people. The reason they're not marketing it as a musical is because people won't go. Like West Side Story, the remake, was one of the better musicals that I've seen, and I love the original. It's one of the better movies that I've seen in quite a while. People just aren't flocking out to see musicals, man. They're just not.
Yeah, I mean, you got to hide it because Wonka made $600 million.
Exactly. Good point.
Yeah, and that's a musical, and so clearly they're doing that here. And we don't know how much of a musical it is, right? Because if it's all in their minds, then it's supposedly conveying whatever's going on in their warped minds, and so that's going to be fun to experience creatively. What can they do? What can Todd Phillips do? The set designers, costume designers, everybody, the production design, everybody involved in this. What are they going to bring about? How long are these songs going to be? How relevant are they to the overall plot? This is all going to be essential in how they're doing it. You know, Makuga was very legendary for hating musicals because he didn't understand people would just stop and sing, and it has nothing to do with what's going on in the main overall plot. Makuga is the kind of person they want to bring in. So you want to make it work within the construct organically of the overall story that you're telling. So I think that's the approach they're having here. And look, it opened for 96 and made a bill. If it opens for 150, I think a 1.5 is a possibility, especially with no competition. So
curious. I mean, it also depends on what kind of legs Beetlejuice is going to have, because Beetlejuice opening up at 100 million opening weekend, is that the biggest September weekend like ever?
That's kind of a surprise to me that people are thinking 100 million for Beetlejuice.
It's a big weekend. 100 million for it's got a lot of hype behind it. It's an iconic movie. Have you seen the movie yet? I'm seeing it tomorrow.
I've seen it tomorrow night.
Me too.
Yeah.
So
I rewatched the original over the weekend for a reaction video for my channel, and it's only an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's short.
This one's an hour and 45. So
I'm excited. Look, it's one of my most anticipated films. I'm excited to see it. Joker is also one of my anticipated films. So I'm curious how they're both going to play. There is some. It's starting to beef up in September now, leading into the end of the year. So we're gonna have some good stuff. All right. So
it's got some negative reviews too. So
it did it.
Yeah, Vanity Fair didn't like it. There was a couple other sites that didn't like Beetlejuice, but then there's been people who were very positive about Beetlejuice.
The critic response is going to have no impact on this movie. It's not. It's gonna.
That's fair.
It's going to have no impact on this movie. Yeah. Like I can tell you, like my almost 13-year-old is a major Beetlejuice fan. Loves the musical. Loves everything about it. She could read 100 reviews, and they could all say it stinks. Not keeping her out of the theater. No way. It's Beetlejuice, man.
True.
Yeah. All right. I ask you guys, put your thoughts in there about Joker. Obviously, do you think that this movie's going to make $1 billion? Do you think it's going to? How do you think it's going to do overall? Are you excited to see it? That's what I want to hear. So put your thoughts in there. We're going to get to your questions in just a moment. And before I do, I want to tell you about two other great sponsors that we have on the show. And I've told you time and again, I have to tell you about hymns. Of course, I'm going to tell you about hymns, and then I'm going to tell you about Mando. I'm going to tell you about hymns real quick. Here you go. It's not hymns. There you go. Hymns, guys. When we leave the house, whether you got your phone, wallet, keys, how's your hair look? But if you're experiencing hair loss, you may not be so confident when you step outside your door. Now you got to get confident again, and you got to restore your hair, and you do it with hymns, because nobody wants to lose your hair. And for men, it's common. And now with Hims, the solution is simple. You try Hims Hair Loss Solutions, and you'll be joining hundreds of thousands of subscribers who got their flow back. Hims provides access to a range of hair loss treatments that work all the way from the comfort of your couch. They offer personalized chewable, orable, spray, and serum treatment options so you can find what works best for you. The process is simple and 100% online. Just answer a few questions, and a medical provider will determine if the treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment is sent directly to your door. Hims has hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, so if you feel like you're losing a part of yourself with your hair loss, get Hims and get your confidence back. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/bigthing, HIMS.com/bigthing for your personalized hair loss treatment options. So that's hims.com/bigthing. Results vary based on studios of topical and oral mixodal. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. All right, let me tell you about Mando. I've talked about Mando so many different times, but for me, I saw there was Dr. Shannon Klingman. It was some commercial, and I stuck around because I had heard people. And look, and I also, you heard me so many times. Hey, Mando, said that before, and I was like, oh, look at a brand name Mando. And then I got some, and I've been with Mando for a little bit, and it smells wonderful. You can put it all over your body. That's right, your whole body. It's dermatologist tested, and it's gentle on all your bits. That's right. It controls odor for over 72 hours, and it's clinically proven. I love it. You can choose from the cologne quality scents or unscented. It's got so many different great smells to it, and so for me, it's like I'm right out of the shower. I have it on, and before I go in the mornings, I love it. And it's great. There's so many benefits to it. It's a whole body formula. There's no aluminum. That's the one that you always got to make sure. 72-hour control, as I mentioned, is doctor developed. It doesn't cause you irritation. It smells great. It's amazing. You're really, really gonna love it. So I have a discount code, and you can hook you up. So it is my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. So there's new customers. When you're a new customer, you get a $5 off. If you go to that starter, you get a starter pack, and you use that code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. You got to use the code BIGTHING at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Critically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. It is so good. So good. I love Mando. Hey, Mando. All right, John.
Yo.
So let's get into some of these questions, because we got a lot of them. Got some good ones here too. And I, again, thank you to our sponsors and everybody too and if you want to help the show, that's how you do it. The link's always in the description. I went apple picking with the family yesterday.
What?
Yeah, went apple
Where?
picking. There's this farm that's about an hour away from me.
Wow.
And yeah, see if I can even show you. Tell the audience something wonderful about yourself, and then I'll show you one of these apples.
I tell you, it's called the Outlaw Nation, my channel. It's going to be the John Rocha channel very, very soon. Heading over there. So, look, you go to youtube.com/John Rocha Says. Wonderful content over there. Some of you aren't heading over there. Head over there, for God's sakes. We got so much fun going on. The Geek Buddies are a blast with Michael Vogel and Shannon McClung, two people who are industry vets who are working in the industry. Not a lot of people who have these geek shows have people who've been in these rooms, who've been in these conference calls and had these conversations and pitch shows and been showrunners. That's what we tout for you in the Geek Buddies. We have hands-on experience of creating shows, making shows, being in there. So our analysis is a much deeper analysis than some of these other shows. So give us a shot. The hot mic, Jeff Snyder's reputation. That guy knows everybody in town and has his ear to the ground. Great stuff going on there. Laura Kelly, Kevin Smets on the Jedi Way. Fantastic people. My stuff I've got going on with stream with reactions and trailer reactions and reviews and stuff with Winston A. Marshall. We got the Spill the Tequila. Come on. Hang out with us, for God's sakes. Outlaw Nation, youtube.com/John Rocha Says. Come and do it. Come on. Come on, do it.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Look at that apple. I haven't bitten it.
Wow. Look at that thing.
Yeah, dude. It's good stuff.
Look at that.
Crunchy.
I haven't seen something that big. Never mind.
That's where you're going with that?
It's a medical condition.
Oh.
Anyway, let's move
All
on.
right. Okay. Well, you didn't finish up what you were saying there because it comes up. Who knows what you there you go. Perfect. All right. Yeah, you know what's so funny is my friend of mine who watches this show, and I don't think he'd have a problem me telling you this,
Okay.
because he's thrown in super chats before too.
Nice.
And I think that when the show first started, he's like, Rocha again. This guy, he's one of those people who gets pissed off with you quick, right?
Of course,
and
I love him.
and then I talked to my brother. My brother's like, James really loves Rocha now, and I was like, so he's like, because he just doesn't, because he definitely speaks his opinion, and he liked that. So, all right. So here we go. We got we got a lot of questions, and let's start with this one. And we'll be here, by the way. We will be here with you guys. So throw them in there while we're still going up, and that's fine.
Yeah. Happy Labor Day.
Justin Fountain. Yes, happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day. Justin Fountain. I'm cautiously optimistic about Jurassic World Rebirth. We haven't talked about that, by the way. I should read that story, though. I have faith in Gareth, and while it sounds video gamey, there is some logic, since larger animals don't get cancer hardly ever because they're the mass, like whales and elephants. That's interesting. That's probably something that we should do then, because of that amazing comment and super chat there. Let's talk about that Jurassic World thing real quick. This is some potential story details, John. So check this out. This is, again, I'm reading this over from Dark Horizon here, and here it is. New story details have apparently emerged regarding the Universal Pictures' upcoming semi-reboot of its Jurassic franchise with Jurassic World Rebirth. Recently, the first photos from the currently in-production movie went online, showcasing stars Scarlett Johansen, Jonathan Bailey, Mahershala Ali, and the film's first poster. The film's title was also revealed, and so far the reception to the name hasn't been the greatest. A brief synopsis was also released at the time, but now SFF Gazette has posted what they claim to be more detailed. The new synopsis reads as follows. The film will be set 5 years following the events of Jurassic World Dominion, when the planet's ecology has proven largely inhospitable to dinosaurs. Those remaining exist in isolated cordial environments with climates resembling the one in which they once thrived. The three most colossal creatures with the tropical biosphere hold the key to a drug that will bring miraculous life-saving benefits to humankind. Covert operations expert Zora Bennett attempts to secure the genetic material from the dinosaurs, but ends up stranded with a civilian family on an island that holds a secret being kept from humanity for decades. All right. It seems like the same old, same old.
Yeah. Where's the locusts? Come on.
Oh, God. Thank God they don't know that. But it seems like, I guess, again, they're trapped with a family, and now they got to run away with the dinosaurs.
This is going to help humanity. You got to help us help humanity. Didn't we just see this in Alien Romulus? If we can get this down to the surface, we're going to save humanity.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not that excited about it. I got to look at that. I mean, I think that from we go back to our friend Justin. What Justin says, I think Gareth Edwards gives me a bit of hope with it when it comes to, because I liked the last movie he did more so than you did. But
the creator, yeah.
But I liked the way he shot it. But going back here we go back to the comments from earlier. People were wondering about why you care about budgets so much, because he had an $80 million budget to work with. He didn't have 150, and he had to. And directors have to challenge themselves to make that 80 work. Yep. How much are they giving him for Jurassic? I hope it's not 150. I hope it's like 70 or 80. And the reason why I say it's possible that they could get it to at least 100 is because Scarlett Johansen's your only high-priced talent. Mahershala Ali's probably got a nice price tag, but not too much that's going to break the bank with two big stars, right? Yeah, the rest of the cast is pretty much not huge. So I think, let's scale this down. Scale it down.
A number of sites are reporting that the budget is possibly, and I'm not saying this is truthful. I'm saying
I don't like the way you're setting this up.
Some of these sites are reporting that it's $265 million.
So stupid. It's like you don't.
If that's true.
When is it going to change? When is it going to change? Because and I guess it's like a math thing too. I'd love to have a studio a big wig on here. Not like there's an exact.
Yeah, but they won't tell you the truth, even if you do.
But this is the question that I would ask. This question is I ask this: if you have an IP like Jurassic World, where you know people are going to see it. Why do you have to spend $260 million on it when you can spend $100 on it, put somebody in it, and scale it back, and not just throw all this money like this because you have to? Because now you've got to make at least $800 million in order for this thing to do well. And you're putting so much pressure on the director. This is the answer to your question before. For everybody's like, why do you care? You're putting pressure on the actors. You're putting pressure on the writers now to come up with constant rewrites to make sure that the studio execs feel like their money's being spent the right way. And it's like, why are you making this movie for so much? You can make imagine the profit that they can make. Spend the marketing on it, sure. Spend the $100 million on the marketing, and make it for look at the freaking Kong vs. Godzilla. That movie cost $100 million to make. It made hand over fist.
Yeah, the Jurassic World wiki and numerous other sites that I just looked at real quick all say 265. I think Illuminati is the one that's got the lowest one at 185. But either way, it's still in the $200 million range, if not more. So yeah, I hear you. The thing I have hope on this one is that there's already a script, and that's the thing I had a problem with the creator is that I thought there were some script issues in Gareth Edwards, some of the stuff he did that with the story. So hopefully the story is good, and Gareth is coming in to direct a kick-ass film because he's such a visually great director. So can the story match the visuals? That's sometimes the issue. I think that's why Tony Gilroy saved Rogue One. And so you're like, okay, well, can the story match the visuals? Well, you hope that happens here with an already written script by David Koepp. So yeah, 265 is a lot, but I am cautiously optimistic. That being said, this is a plot we've seen numerous times before.
Yeah, I'm less excited about this than I was. I still like Scarlett Johansson a lot, but I'm less excited. All right, here's the next question from our good friend Mike Joyce. Mike Joyce always helping us out over here. Calling it now. The biggest secret in Rebirth is the dino-human hybrids, and they can say is Alan that our aliens are behind everything. I know. That's another thing that they always feel like they got to go the next step up, like the crazy thing. It's like, I think scale it down. It's like still hoping that we're going to get this thing of the Terminator. I keep bringing up Terminator because I'm trying to will it into existence, where they're going to make a 1984 low budget Terminator movie where it's like a horror film again, like A24 style. That's what I'd love. Wouldn't you like to see an A24 like $30 million Terminator movie?
100%.
Right?
100%.
Show me that. Anyway. All right, next one. This is from Justin again. Thank you, Justin. Part 2.
There's a lot of young creators who are on YouTube, dude, who can make this for way cheap and make it look fantastic.
Of course. Dude, some of the stuff that's done on the internet and on YouTube, the deepfake stuff, that is way better than what the studio does. Way better. Justin Fountain. Part 2 of my super chat is the secret being that of DX, a dino to human transmissible disease from the Lost World novel. That's my guess, but who knows? Nerdy Jurassic Park fan here. You should be writing the movie. Honestly. It's like, that's the kind of stuff that sounds more exciting to me. It's like the first novel was so detailed, and Spielberg got a hold of it and made it the big blockbuster that it was, and it's great. But it's so detailed, that first novel. I'd love to see that. I'm surprised Universal didn't go with a Jurassic Park series for a Peacock.
I guess maybe because of the.
Whoa, what are you doing over there?
Yeah, sorry about that. Just trying to, the light sometimes get a little bright.
Trance music.
Because the change in the sun, the light gets a little bright. So
got it.
But they did what they could, and now it's like, well, every time they try to swing back to make it a little more nerdy, it's harder because they also have the expectations of trying to hit the mainstream big budget audience, so they can't make it too nerdy. And because that's why the Holocaust, the Locust thing really kind of messed them up. It was just not
two different things.
Yeah, just not the right situation.
So, all right, let's get into the next question here, and that is Kenneth Colton, September 12th. The Old Man Season 2 and the Penguin series on September 19th. Whoa, they're both coming out the same weekend, huh? Be busy.
Yeah.
Very excited for these shows. Oh, yeah, and NFL is back Thursday. I'm telling you, so much is coming back right now. So much.
Florida State tonight. The Knowles tonight.
I'm about 4 episodes into Bad Monkey, by the way. Great show.
Dude,
great
I
show.
Finished the whole show.
You told me.
Fantastic.
Really good show. So
I'm glad you're liking it.
Cannot wait for Old Man Season 2. Cannot wait for that. And the Penguin, I'm also equally excited for that. The Penguin, I'm probably gonna do reactions to. The other one, that's what because I start my movie reactions. I think this week we're doing. The first one we're doing is Borderlands with me and Sarah. Yeah, I've never.
Is that coming out on the digital?
It's already out on digital. Yeah, so Matt, Sarah, and I are going to watch that. My wife and I are actually going to watch what's the Shyamalan one that just came out?
Oh yeah, Trap.
We're going to watch that one. My friend Tina is going to watch Bumblebee with me or Longlegs. I don't know yet. Ooh. And then my friend Sam has never seen Logan. So I'm going to watch Logan with her. So those are going to be the four that we start out with. Pretty excited with that. But Penguin, I'll probably be doing some stuff for sure. But yeah, Kenneth, I'm with you, man. The Old Man season 2, and then football's back. So pretty excited.
It's old dude time finally.
That's right. Carlton Rudder, London calling. What's up, Carlton? Wolves, 90 million for Clooney and Pitt, and it goes straight to streaming. So it's not 90. But it was reported 70 apparently, but he says no. I still think 40 is too much. What are your thoughts on it not having a theatrical release? Well, it seems like that's what Apple does. It's like I don't know if they necessarily care about theatrical as much. I just don't think that they do. I was just mentioning Bad Monkey. Every time I turned on a Bad Monkey episode, there was a trailer for that movie that comes on first. For Wolves. Yeah. Every time, because they're promoting it, they want you to watch it on TV. They don't want you to watch it in the theater. They want you to watch it on Apple. My wife was the first time she saw it. What's this? Like, let's watch this when it comes out on Apple, because she's not gonna go see it in the theater. So that might be one. Hey, it comes out on Apple. That might be one to do a watch along to. Who knows?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But either way, I don't know how it works with Apple. We were talking about that last week, John. How does that work with Apple? Like, they don't really care. Because you can't. It doesn't seem like the Flowers of the Killer Moon, they were phased at all with how bad that movie did.
No, because that was for trying to get awards. They were trying to get awards with Killers of the Flower Moon, so they were happy to take a loss on that one. But I mean, like, they just came out with the extra 48-minute footage of the director's cut of Napoleon.
Yeah.
How many people watched that? How many people were like, you know what? I hated the first time around. Let me see the extra 48 minutes if it's going to be any better.
I'd be lying if I told you that I didn't turn it on last night for like. I watched the beginning, like after we finished Bad Monkey. My wife, she was coming back from, I don't know where she was, downstairs, whatever. She comes upstairs, and she's like, "What are you watching?" I said, "Director's cut of Napoleon." And she's like, and "It's like we're right about to go to sleep. I would still be watching it right now. It's like 4 hours long."
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, continuing on. All right, next one here, and this is Matt Sinister McCall here, John. We always get a good one from him. Yeah. And this is Beth Snyder. He says. RDJ is doom, but there are runners-up. Yao Ming, Smokey the Bear, Gordon Ramsay, Otis, and Will Ferrell, but he wouldn't let him keep his clothes on. Nailed it. As always. I'm pretty sure that's Ellis.
You think?
No, he's witty. He's witty, that guy. I always look forward to his questions.
Could be Brett.
Could be. Julius Wyatt. No, it couldn't be Brett. It knows too much about movies. Julius Wyatt. John, will you do a vid if Florida State loses tonight to BC?
I'm thinking of doing a live watch on my sports channel. So
smart idea.
The Lady Outlaw, unfortunately, we had a surprise passing on her side of the family.
Sorry.
So she's out of town today. We had plans for Labor Day, but she's out of town now. So I may just watch the game live at 4:30. So come and join me for that on my sports channel. And I'll make an announcement of it sometime this afternoon if I'm doing that. So I'll do something like that for sure.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
All right. So Random Pat. Hello, Random Pat. Hey, gents. Happy Labor Day. What do you think the chances of Fantastic Four being delayed to fall 2025? I'm really hoping they delay it instead of a July release. I will say the chances of that, you have a better chance of my wife letting me go on a date with Julia Roberts, and she's saying yes.
My wife. No, there's no way. They're not delaying anything anymore. I think this is it. I think everything's locked in stone because they've got to hit that Secret Wars dates for both of these. If they keep pushing stuff, I think the Marvel fan base is going to really start turning against them.
There's no way. There's no way. And the push that they're making on this right now, they have videos for it. They just debuted the music at the Hollywood Bowl the other night.
Yeah.
They're up and running. They're ready to go. This is a huge movie for them. This is like the biggest movie for them, in my opinion, next year is Captain America, because it needs to hit. Because it's just restarting the whole wave again. If it bombs and it doesn't do well and it's not good, it's like, all right, Marvel missed again. All right, cool. Now we want Thunderbolts to good, and if Thunderbolts not good, then all the pressure's on Fantastic Four, but at least you have it, right?
Yeah.
but it's positioned in a good spot. It's in July. It's right after those two movies. So if those two movies hit, and then Fantastic Four hits, and it's like, oh, they finally got it right. Now they're firing all those cylinders. Bring out the Avengers movie, and then people will be all hyped for Marvel again. And if it does, go ahead.
So what about the Spider-Man film, Kristian? Do you think that they should release the Spider-Man film between the Secret Wars movies? I mean, I kind of feel like
they have to, because I feel like they have to.
Yeah.
Well, because Spider-Man has such a big part of Secret Wars.
I know.
Unless you make him part of it first and then do a movie. But it's like, and I think it also depends on what's your movie. You go back to our conversation with Terminator A24. I think Spider-Man, not obviously not to that low of a scale, but I think you get away from. I think that Rothman is wrong when it comes to what he's trying to do with the multiverse, bringing back Garfield. That is such a studio dumb move. It's like, make it your family, the neighborhood Spider-Man movie. Feige wants to do that. Really scale it down. Street level Spider-Man. Let's get that version. We haven't seen him, Tom Holland, do that yet. Do that, and then if you can do that kind of movie, then it doesn't matter where. You can definitely fit it before the Avengers.
Yeah, fair point.
So we'll see. Okay, next one here, and that is our great friend Tim Sim.
Hey, Tim.
What's up, Tim? Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to you. When looking over the Acolyte videos, the algorithm gave me a great video by Adam Conover about how streaming destroyed TV, which definitely ties in today's Star Wars TV news. I recommend this to y'all to see.
Tim, people didn't like the show. That's it. You can put all the YouTube videos you want, and you know I love you. People didn't like the show. There are plenty of streaming shows that explode. Shall I show you House of the Dragon numbers? Like, this is madness. There are so many great streaming shows that do well. So, yes, streaming has killed some shows, but that was not the reason the Acolyte was not successful. It was not well written. Some of the acting wasn't great. Some of the direction wasn't good. There were clashing tones throughout the whole damn thing. So, come on. I love you, but you're becoming an Acolyte truther at this point. And you're going into the wormholes, brother.
There's a lot. Look, I loved it. I loved it. There's a lot. There's a lot of people who wanted this show to come back.
I know,
and
I respect that.
I do feel, though, that there are a lot of people making excuses for why. And it's like, streaming has nothing to do with this. Streaming has nothing to do with this. I think you make a good point. That is just there's a lot of shows that do very, very well. There's so many different things we can break down that we've broken down. In general, but how streaming destroyed TV. I would, if someone made a show that said how streaming destroyed the movie theater experience, I'd be like, oh, that's a definite possibility and I believe it did. I think there's it, or changed it rather. It changed it dramatically, streaming. But how it destroyed TV? No, I think it's enhanced it personally. But
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's enhanced it because you're able. There's so many. Because here's one of the reasons it's enhanced it. And you just think about how hard it was to see certain smaller films back, 15, 20 years ago, right? There are smaller films that you're like, oh, what's that movie? Unless I live in Los Angeles and New York, I can't see that movie in the theaters, and I'll have to wait until it's on HBO in a year, right?
Right.
Now they make these things for Netflix. You get high quality independent films. They probably just dropped one during the middle of this conversation. They probably just dropped a high level independent film that you can see now because you have so many opportunities. The negative is that there's so much, it's hard to find stuff, and there's so much to watch. But no, I don't think that Acolyte had anything to do with streaming being the problem. If the overall thing is, that's another conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. Mad Sinister McCall saw the original Speak No Evil. There is no way the U.S. version will go the places it did. When did the studios lose their balls? Was it social media? Nah, studios have always I can't remember who I was talking to about this. I don't know if it was I can't remember anymore. My conversations blend in, whether it's off the air or on the air. But I was talking to somebody about the thing is with studios, and it's always been like this from when I was there, from before that, after that. You get certain studio execs that are the really good studio execs who take the risks, who take the chances. Yeah. But people are too scared because they don't want to lose their jobs. So they go through the mechanics and they go through the numbers and they go through the things and they go to what they think is going to get them in trouble. They have to throw sponsors and they have to do this. They have to do this. And they lose the creative juices and they lose what it is. So it's not a matter of did they lose their balls. It's just a matter of who's in charge of that project. And do you get like, because when you look at, and that's the thing that I always say, in the same way that when people are saying that, well, Disney's ruined Star Wars, you know, and Disney's ruined Marvel. But when the Avengers and the Endgame was great, no one said like Disney's the best. They never gave Disney credit for that. They gave everybody else the credit. And it's like, it's a thankless job the studios have and the studios execs. In the same way, the executives on those projects don't get the love either. You never hear about the executive that brought the project in, or really, I mean, every once in a while, if you really dive into the story, but like who founded, who championed it, who was on set to do all these things. Like there's a show that's coming out that I had the first 3 episodes to see, and you're going to love it. You are going to love this show, John. The show's right up your alley. It's a franchise on HBO.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Do you know what it comes out sometime in September or October. Okay. And do you know what it's about?
No.
Oh man, it is so this audience is it's got oh my God, give me the great actor Steven from Loki, who's old Loki. My God.
Oh, Richard E. Grant.
Yes, for God's sakes. Yeah. Richard E. Grant. It's got Daniel Bruhl, Billy Magnuson. It's got
Cash.
So
nice.
This show is it's essentially about Marvel. But it's but they never say it. And it's about they're making a superhero movie and how the franchise is like this big, huge IP that has, you know, lost its way, and they're making it's during the filming of this thing. And Hamish Patel is he's like the first AD. Oh, cool. And he's got to run this whole operation. And it's the creators of Veep. It's like Veep meets Entourage. And it's right up your alley. I've seen the first 3 episodes. This audience is going to love it. And I can't, it's what I talked to Billy Magnuson about, but it's like, it is going to be, but they show the executive though that comes on and like, well, that's the guy they call to help out, like the wolf. And so that person never gets the love. All right.
Did you have Billy in studio?
No. I had him on. That is the beauty with these new layouts and everything too. And shout out to Luke from Galaxy Geeks who's been helping me out with the layouts and everything else too. Luke. So, oh yeah, I didn't realize. You know, the whole thing is too. We did this the whole time, John. I've had is my logo been up here? My logo is not even there. It is. Why did it go down? It went away. I don't know why it went away. Anyway. So, I know why, and he's going to tell me exactly why, because I don't have it on a loop. I need to put it on a loop. Anyway, all right, let's get back to this. Timson, also, yes, Rocha, we, Man United, still stink after your Liverpool destroyed my club yesterday. Our manager isn't doing any favors getting him sacked, and our existing idiotic player contracts before Ineos took control is frustrating. Hold on, let me tell you what I just heard there. I don't know what was said in that. What was said there, John?
It's just a bunch of excuses from a Manchester United fan. That's all you need to know. And they got their butts handed to them by a better team. Okay. That's it.
All right. Fair enough. I don't know what that means. All right, here we go. So I know the Yankees. I've been watching the Yankees a lot more.
Yankees.
It's me, Steve-O. Are you both keeping up with AEW and WWE? MJF is top 3. I've been kind of paying attention socially. I saw like the event that went down over the weekend. I saw Gunther kept his belt.
Oh, back in Berlin.
Yeah. I saw that. I saw a few of those other things. CM Punk just won his battle, right? So that was good. And so I'm paying attention. I'm casually watching from a distance. What's going on with Roman? Anything going on with Roman over there?
No, he came back at SummerSlam, but now he's kind of receded back for a little bit, and they're going to figure out what they're going to do next with him coming up. But the Bash in Berlin was very much Gunther's showcase, so that's why, because they're doing it in Berlin. He's German, so they put it there, and so there was no Roman Reigns, no bloodline, nothing.
Okay. Mike Joyce, the owner of the White Sox, is notoriously cheap, and they are on track to be the worst team ever this year. Who do you think the worst owner in sports is? Ooh, man. John, I'll let you answer that one.
Ooh, now that Dan Snyder is out, that's tough. I mean, because I think Jerry Jones might be the worst owner in sports. A guy who chased away a Super Bowl winning coach because of issues with ego and Jerry needing to get the stroke because he was jealous that Jimmy was getting the stroke. And I don't care that they've made up now, but like He has overpaid for the wrong players, underpaid for the wrong players, brought in terrible coaches, top to bottom. And don't give me that Barry Switzer nonsense. He won with Jimmy Johnson's team. And he's basically pissed away the name of the Dallas Cowboys for almost 3 decades. So to me, I think he's the worst owner because he had the biggest possibility for success in his situation, and he has ruined it. And CeeDee Lamb just took him to the cleaners because he shot his mouth off in an interview. So, it's just, I think he's the worst owner overall.
Well, there you go. I always thought you were going to say Sam Levine. All right, let's see. So, next one. Ewok. Excited to see The Brutalist. It just premiered at Venice, and it's been called a masterpiece with comparisons to The Godfather and There Will Be Blood. Which one's The Brutalist, John?
I don't know. I actually haven't heard of that one. Hold on.
Which one is that?
The Brutalist. This is with Adrian Brody and Felicity Jones.
Okay.
I love Felicity Jones. Directed by Brady Corbett.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. Well, there you go. So, we first heard it from you. So there you go. We heard it. Now when we hear about it, let's see. Okay. Alex is Naranjo. Let's get a new spin on Gandalf and cast Ian McShane. Sauron. That guy. Hilarious.
Wow. That'd be a scary Gandalf for sure.
That'd be something. That'd be something. Look, they've done it before. So
you put that ring in a mountain.
Darth Vader's burnt asshole.
Ew.
Gandalf is a key figure in the hunt for Gollum. In the lore, he and Aragorn catch him, which is what ties Gandalf to knowing Gollum told Sauron where the Shire is. It's not just greatest hits; he's integral to the story, which makes, that's what I was saying. It makes sense that he would be involved at that point in time. It's like, I don't think your point is off though, John. Where it's like, he's still 85, so even though Gandalf's a little older, you still got to make sure that he looks like he can do it. They're gonna do a lot of cheats to get him back, but you got to. But I'm kidding and not kidding at the same time. You got to shoot his scenes first.
Yeah, no, honestly,
I mean, you have to. But what
forbid anything happens to him?
He's saying that himself. He's just like, or just saying along the lines of like I don't know how much longer I am doing this. I don't plan on quit acting, but like, let's go. 85. Time is money.
I mean, look at the Dame Judi Dench. She's legally blind now.
Is she really? Wow.
She's gotten that old that she's legally blind, and so she can like see somewhat a little bit in front of her face, but she has a very hard time reading and all these kinds of things. And so age catches up with everybody, y'all.
It does. I know it does. Certainly does. But again, thank you for that, and for Darth Vader's burnt a-hole. That's also but that's a good point though, to know that there's so much more involved in it. And I really hope that's another one though. I mean, you and I are on different pages.
With that, with what?
I'm not gonna break your chops on it, but I think you're lunatic that you think the Hobbit movies are better than the original Lord of the Rings. But that's fine.
I just enjoy them more.
That's a different argument.
This is about men.
But what about better made?
Oh well, I guess you'd have to argue that the scope of the Lord of the Rings movies are better made in terms of the look and the feel.
It looks more real to me. There's more like this. Way too many. Even though there's a lot of CGI, obviously in the original Lord of the Rings movies, it seems more practical, and even the stuff that he did with the orcs and everything else too. I hope they go back to that, and I hope that Andy takes that style from the original ones and stays away from the way that they shot the Hobbit stuff. And
that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
We'll see.
I just like the Hobbits because the dwarfs are men. I like men. The Hobbits irritate me. They're like kids. They irritate me.
It's fine. I guess maybe I'm a pop, so I don't mind them. All right, Mike Joyce, Knives Out 3. My little one though. Oh, she was testing me yesterday, John, in the car. Oh, she was testing me in the car.
You put her on a plane anytime you want, man. We will take care of your little one. We like your little one here. We'll take care of her.
The little
watch W Peacock all weekend.
Mike Joyce, Knives Out 3. The budget apparently is $210 million. First one cost $40 million. I just, there's only so much you can have the same conversation, Mike. It's like. Oh, I don't know what and when you Ryan Johnson's like, hey, I'll make another one for you. Give me $300 million to do what? I don't know. We want $100 million to go to Hawaii. Oh, okay. Deal. Yeah. Tim Sim. Also, thank you, Tim, once again. Also, as we are at the end of the summer movie season, my takeaway is that we had a slow start with the Fall Guys box office flop. We got better and made tons of money from July to August. Thoughts on the summer movie season? It definitely had a bounce back for sure. If you jump back and you look at the movies, I mean, I don't have the list in front of me. It's a great comment, though, because May was starting off rough, not only with Fall Guy, but you also had Furiosa. If was okay, but then Inside Out 2 started it all. Inside Out 2 was the one that really got it going. And then so Inside Out 2, Deadpool, Wolverine, Alien Romulus, what were some of the other Despicable Me?
Yeah, Despicable Me did well.
I mean, that's just, and there were other smaller ones that did well also.
The Blake Lively one, right?
Blake Lively one did well.
$200-something million worldwide. Right. That's incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are tons of movies that did very well. I think that overall, all things considered, it bounced back pretty well. I mean, I am not the number cruncher, but I would say when they look at it at the end, they're going to be pretty happy with. I mean, there's 2 movies that already hit $1 billion in the summer, and that alone, they didn't have anyone since Mario, I think, from before, and Barbie maybe, and that was it. So,
considering the dearth of choices, they've done well. The box office has done well in the comeback. Yeah,
I think if I'm 2025, I'm excited. Because right, because 2025 has a lot more contenders than this year did, and we're not even over with this year.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Summer though. But from what Tim's talking with summer, I think summer is, even though I think summer will be massive next year, I think this summer recovered for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mad Sinister McCall, Underworld, Beckinsale better than Pugh and Julia. Come on now. You know what I'll say though? I'll give you Kate Beckinsale over Florence Pugh. Although I'll tell you though, John, there was a picture they had of the Thunderbolts that was released, and I'd be lying if I didn't say that Florence Pugh looked like a damn smoke show in the elevator.
I heard you backtrack.
Yeah, I didn't backtrack anything. I just said she looked hot. I didn't say she was hotter than Julia. I just said she looked hot. That's all I said. That's all I said.
The punaissance. You feeling the punaissance. That's what
false.
I heard. Beckinsale. I can't argue. I have always had a crush on Look, Rachel Weisz is my number one.
Rachel Weisz
that can't be touched.
Rachel Weisz is pretty good.
Beckinsale is a gorgeous, gorgeous woman.
Yeah. Let's see. Sarah. Oh, or Matt, Sarah, and you reacting to horror movies. So that would be big for the views in October. Bone Tomahawk. He loves Bone Tomahawk. Did I tell you that?
Yeah, I know you told me.
Oh, That's
the one you should react to with him. Especially for that one scene. Man.
God, he loves that movie. He loves that movie so much. And then X and Terrifier. And maybe we'll see. He's been asking me so many times to watch that damn movie. Let's see. As I'm going down the line here, I think we might be coming to an end. We have a good amount today though, so I thank everybody for being part of it, and I think we our first kind of live show with the new branding's gone pretty good, John.
Yeah, agreed.
Justin Fountain, have fun with Borderlands. The movie hurts me as a fan. Yeah, that's what I heard. Sorry, there wasn't very good. Hank Pym, don't think you guys are big anime fans, but have you checked out the new Terminator anime? It's phenomenal. Production ideas behind it, a great anime studio. I knew it was out, but no, I haven't watched it yet. Maybe my daughter, the oldest, is a big anime fan, so maybe that's something I can actually get her to watch with me because she wanted me to watch. The last night she was showing me this thing that she was created of the last Avatar did, and the Dragon Prince or something like that. Do you know what that is?
Okay,
I don't
Dragon
know what
Prince.
Maybe people know what that is.
With the name Marshall question.
Yeah, but so I'm sure somebody in the audience knows what it is. But the Dragon Prince, and she wanted me to watch. I watched the opening. And it's very inspired by Lord of the Rings. I mean, the font alone is Lord of the Rings. Yeah. But maybe I can get her to watch that with me. I'm glad you brought that up, Hank, because
it's 8 episodes. They're only half an hour.
You ever seen them?
Yeah. No, I've saw them on Netflix.
Okay.
I'm going to watch them,
Okay.
some of them today, and then try to do a review tomorrow.
Okay. Skeleton Strange New Worlds #1 fan. Hello, guys. The podcast, the Adam Friedland Show, called the new Star Wars shows baby movies. Do you think aiming these shows to 15-year-olds is a main reason older fans aren't tuning in? No. I'm going to quote what John said. It's bad writing that is not having people tune in. There are something. Andor is not aimed. Is not a baby movie. Andor. That person cannot be talking about Andor. But there are certain things that are written that if you make an argument that, like, who are these written for? They're written for like 12 or 13-year-olds, and I'd be like, yeah, it's hard to argue that. But like, I've mentioned this. Dave Filoni is not a good writer. He's a good storyteller. He's just not a good writer. And Ahsoka, not the best writing. and Obi-Wan had nothing to do with him as far as that because he oversees all this stuff. But I didn't think Obi-Wan was good writing. I didn't think the Acolyte was good writing. Whatever they're doing, however they're being advised, they're not being advised like to be aiming towards again everybody.
Yeah, well, this is a foolish narrative, right? I saw it over the weekend. Somebody put Disney Star Wars. It was some goofy girl with a face, and then someone put up Sydney Sweeney as original Star Wars. I'm like, you guys are idiots. There's absolutely no correlation between the two. Original Star Wars had so much childish kiddie crap. Give me a break with trying to compare the two and complain and claim that the original and the sequel or the prequel trilogy were just these very serious, strong. Give me a break, man. The racist aliens, midichlorians is stupid. Darth Vader's is childish as hell. The Ewoks that's Disney made product right there. George Lucas himself said he made these things for the kids. So to this idea that you're going to be like, oh, Disney Star Wars is like childish, but the other Star Wars, that was real stuff. Everyone, Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope is pretty much it. I don't care how much people try to tell you the prequel trilogy is good now. I will stand on that hill until I'm the last one there. Those films are still not good, and there's a lot of childish stuff in those films, for God's sake. I mean, the miracle childbirth of Anakin builds C-3PO.
Well,
come on.
Sure, but that's and I know you're not arguing towards. That's why there was as many stupid written things in the Acolyte that were just. It comes down to writing. Right. It's just writing. Yeah. It's writing. Yeah. So it's not a matter of what. Yeah, I think that the direction of writing has been terrible.
Star Wars from its inception has had childish things all across the board.
Execution, man, like anything else.
Compare the two. Yeah, exactly. It's all execution.
Philly G, I can't wait for the watch along with Christian's wife up and leaves 20 minutes into a movie to watch something else. Well, she normally, if we set the cameras up at my house, you would definitely catch that.
Yeah, that's true.
But in the office, she ain't going anywhere. She's gonna have to watch. Like I almost, what's funny is I was because Transformers is coming out soon, so I was gonna make her watch Bumblebee with me.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, okay, Bumblebee, that's a good one. So I was like, let me show her the trailer. She's like, I was not paying attention within 30 seconds of this trailer. And she couldn't care less about it. I was like, I'm not wasting this reaction on her. I'm not doing it. She's gonna be bored out of her skull. But I think that Trap movie is perfect for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect.
There's a gift that you and I have, partners who are not desperate to be part of this sphere. No. I think there's a gift in that but it's also, there's a frustration in that because we both are like excited about things we want to share with our partners, and they just go, "Nah, that's stupid. I don't want anything."
They want anything to do with it. But she actually, she wanted to do this. Like I didn't even ask her. Like
I know, respect. I appreciate
because when I was I'm bringing in some people, and she's like, "Well, I want to do one." I was like, "You do?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." I mean, this is perfect for her to do it. We watch movies together and we'll laugh. And I had some. So we're gonna do, like I said, I'm only gonna start with one a week, and then. If people,
see how she feels. Yeah.
Well, she's only going to do probably one a month, but because I'm going
to do one reaction a week as well.
I'm going to do one reaction a week for now, and if people start watching them and people like them, then I'll do more. But like to start, I'm going to do one a week, and then if they do well and people dig them, then we'll do more. Yeah. Okay, keeping it on. Julius Wyatt. Hey John, I'm curious what your expectations are for the Commanders this season. I like Jaden, but I thought May should have been the pick.
No, I don't like Drake May. I don't like anybody coming out of North Carolina as a quarterback. I'll tell you this right now. To me, they're a 500 team. I'm sorry. I'll be happy if they're 500. I'll be happy if they're 500. I don't expect too much. I like Jaden. I don't know about Dan Quinn as a head coach, so he blew it in Atlanta a couple times. And so let's see what happens. But if we hit 500, I'll be happy. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. All right, Spidey Sense 72. Your channel doesn't typically review horror, but I really love if you reviewed the new Speak No Evil and compared it to the original Danish version. I think they've ruined the U.S. remake. Well, I can tell you that I am going to see that on Monday next week, so I'm already going to see it. So I will be reviewing it on the channel.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, but I haven't seen. But I'm not going to lie to you. I'm probably not going to be seeing the Danish version. Not anything against the Danish version. It's probably phenomenal. I just don't have the time to do it, and I probably won't have the time to do it in time. So are you going to see that one?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know, dude. Like the person was saying earlier, the American remakes of these foreign films are always toothless. Like even Girl with a Dragon Tattoo from Fincher, he took away what happens at the end of the original film where she's the one that kills the guy.
Yeah.
And she lets him die not by her. This whole idea of like having to always have our heroes be nice people by the end is what I love about European films. They don't do that, and they really make you question things and question yourself. And I love that. So yeah, I'm not excited to go see this remake, but maybe I'll go to the screening. We'll see.
All right, next one, our buddy Screwface John.
Hmm.
Thoughts on Hulk Hogan losing his biopic? Personally, I'm not mad at it at all. So, y'all, by the way, I'm always in here creeping. If you had a comment, well, we always appreciate you doing it. We always see you here every Monday. We love when you're in here for sure. Yeah, I don't think
I felt somebody watching me. I felt somebody watching me.
I don't think there's any surprise that his biopic was canceled. Todd Phillips said it's the first time we heard Todd Phillips talk about it. He said it ain't happening. Hemsworth is always recently has been like, I don't know. And then, yeah, I think with everything that's kind of been going on with the Hulkster lately, and as far as politically and stuff too, I think that they don't want to be around him as much. So, yeah. I mean, look, it's one of these things. Not with look. This is why I never think anytime biopics should have nothing to do with the people they're making them about. Hulk Hogan should have nothing to do with it in general. Shouldn't be involved at all. Madonna shouldn't be directing her biopic.
100%.
Like it shouldn't, because there's a whole reason why. Because they're going to go, no, let's not put that part in. Yeah, but that's crucial. Do a Hulk Hogan biopic with everything. Do it with all of it. Like now, I'm very interested. I haven't heard them again. They're not canceling that Ben Affleck one.
No, because that's more exploring the darker sides of Hogan.
Right.
So
that's my point. Sense. That's my point. Yeah.
So I'm not surprised either. And I have to say, I officially stopped becoming a Hulkamaniac for the first time in my life last week. I donated all my Hulk Hogan shirts to the Goodwill. I just got rid of everything. Because that it wasn't that he spoke. It wasn't that. It's how he followed up with some of the comments and some of the things. Like, I get political discourse is political discourse. When you start threatening physical violence and you start joking about that kind of stuff in this environment, we just had an assassination attempt. Like, no, man, I ain't about that stuff. And you're an idiot. And this isn't just people with different opinions. There's more on the line here. And so I'm not surprised they canceled the biopic. I'm not surprised about anything. And for me, I'm done with him forever. Like, it's just heartbreaking, but it's the truth for me, So yeah.
So nonetheless, doesn't look like it's going to happen. So, Matt Sinister McCall, glad Harloff didn't move to Kingstown. What a show. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Mayor of Kingstown. Yeah.
That's right. Daniel Hernandez, biopic about Jared from Subway in works, played by Drake. Oh, man.
Played by
Man. Jeez. I bet you Screwface John really liked that one. I bet you he liked that one. Yeah. Oof. All right. Richard Humphrey. Any chance either of you are going to review Terminator Zero? That's the second person who's asked. So I don't know. I mean, I haven't. It's just timing for me. But I don't know if I reviewing it. Maybe if I want. I'll tell you what. If my daughter decides to watch it with me, and we wind up like getting through it pretty fast, then I'll do something.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
If I review it, it'll be tomorrow. That's what I'll say.
Okay. So you've watched, so it depends on how many you've watched, right?
Yeah, I'm going to knock it out of the park before tomorrow. So hopefully be ready to review it tomorrow, either with Geek Buddies or solo. Either way.
Okay. All right, let's see. People are saying that I broke under pressure with Florence Pugh. Are you kidding? No way.
Yeah.
No. Julia Roberts still buries her.
Please.
Buries her. All right.
Nonsense.
Here we go. Vikram, how excited are you guys for the Vince McMahon documentary on Netflix? Now that's going to be something. You don't think?
I'm concerned because Janelle Grant is not a part of it.
Okay.
And her representatives are not a part of it. Okay. So how much are they really going to explore these allegations? Plus, Netflix goes into business with Vince in January. And Endeavor is already a part of the situation over there at Netflix. And they're part of of course, they're the board there that's in charge of WWE. So I don't know how much they're really going to show the allegations and highlight them and really explore them, and how much are they going to touch on them as like at the end of the sentence. Do you know what I'm saying? And so it's not quite. So yes, I'm excited, but only if they actually really show how much of a horrible person Vince McMahon is. Because remember, the same filmmakers made Tiger King. And by the end of Tiger King, with all the terrible crap he pulled, people liked Tiger King by the end. So if they make people like Vince at the end, with all the crap he's pulled, I'm going to be super pissed.
I think that Tiger King, even though he did a lot of pretty horrible stuff. I
That's
think
what I'm saying.
if you compared the two horrible things, you'd probably go with the Tiger King of who you think.
Oh
is
well,
more
of
like-
course, 100%.
Right,
Yes,
right.
yes. But my point is,
Yeah, totally. All right, let's see. Let's go to the next question. Tim Sim, back again. My apologies for angering you, Rocha. I was just saying there's a vid that I was reminded of, and I think that everyone should go watch it in relation to today's news. I'm already over the Acolyte, and I understood the lessons to take away from it. Sigh. Poor Tim.
but I'm passionate, not mad. There's a difference. You know that. There's a
Yeah,
difference.
yeah. Thank you, Tim. Again, this and the same could be said for Tim because he was passionate
I
about
love
the brand in general. Skeleton Strange New Worlds, #1 fan. Love Rocha. That being said, the OG trilogy, Rogue One and Andor, are mature in tone and writing. The Ewoks are debatable. I can argue this point in Super Chat, but the cost would find me divorced.
But you're right, and that's my point.
Yes.
Is that there's great stuff in the original trilogy, and if you want to add some of the scenes from prequel trilogy, fine. And there's great stuff during the Disney run with the 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, with Clone Wars, which everybody seems to forget that final season, Star Wars Rebels, which I think is great, Rogue One, Andor. So there is good stuff during this age of Disney, and there's as much bad stuff on this age as there was back then. Do you forget the holiday special, the Ewok movies? I mean, for God's sakes, there's so much to pick apart here on that side of the fence too.
Right. Well, there you go. So I think those points are well made. Let's see. Do you know? I don't remember this. So Aaron says, sorry for keep pushing this show, Taskmaster, on YouTube. I just think Kristian would love this show. It just brings me a joy after a long day of work. Have you seen it?
Yeah, but you're not a British guy. You don't like British stuff.
That's not necessary. That's not true.
Okay.
Don't judge me. I didn't tell you that I'm I'm the #1 fan, but I enjoy British humor. British humor makes me laugh.
All right.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So watch the show then.
No.
Let me know.
No.
Okay.
I just have no time. Julius Wyatt, when do you think Spider-Verse 3 comes out? Love you guys. Thank you, Julius. When do you think it comes out, John? I would tell you probably, late 2025, early 2026.
Yeah, that sounds about right. With all the stuff that's going down now, and it looks like Lord and Miller are pulling out of the whole Sony situation. So I think it's going to be
Lord and Miller's leaving too. They're leaving too.
Yeah, it looks like Sony's not going to renew their contract.
Oh,
Lord and Miller seem to have issues with Sony.
That makes smart. That's smart on Sony's point.
Yeah, they're fighting over the Spider-Man noir budget. Apparently, that's what the reports are, which seems odd.
Sony really has no clue what they're doing.
No,
they have no clue what.
How do these people have jobs? It's
unbelievable. What are you doing? You give money to the amount of people you give money to, but the people who actually are making you money, you don't give money to.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Logic.
That makes sense. Ewok. Apparently, Josh Brolin is Hal Jordan in Lanterns. No, well, we talked about that a little earlier. I don't know if you came in later, Ewok. But we talked about that. Was one of our top stories. I think like a second story that we talked about.
Yeah.
Okay. Unheard Sirens Incorporated. No shade to the other ladies, but Selma Hayek is peak for me. I don't care what anyone says. Selma Hayek in her prime is a hard one to argue against. Hard to argue against. She was pretty. In Desperado. Come on.
She's hot in Desperado and in Dusk Till Dawn for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't always been a Selma person.
I think she's. I don't think she touches again. Not my goat or your goat. So.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Let's see. Anthony M72. What's the future of Moon Knight in the MCU? I am one of the few people who liked Moon Knight. And I still don't necessarily think it needs a season 2.
Is he going to appear though? Probably in Secret Wars.
I think it's probably a good idea. You should bring everybody involved. Shang-Chi should come back, and all this. They should all come back.
Where is the sequel to Shang-Chi? That is a great movie.
Come on. He's part of it. He's not. What's the deal? And why is Aquafina the sidekick to everyone? Every movie.
True.
Need a sidekick? Get Aquafina.
She just did a lottery movie. She's great.
We need a sidekick. Well, she's busy. Well, we need an animated sidekick. Sign her up. Let's see. Hank Pym. If we're talking peak woman, it's Rhea Ripley. Easy. Rhea Ripley is
what?
Rhea Ripley is definitely got her own. There's something about Rhea Ripley where she's just energy. Like she is a star. Rhea Ripley is a star.
Oh, yeah.
I really. And everything you hear about her too, she's just like a wonderful person, and the stuff she does with her fans. So like, I'm glad that someone like Rhea Ripley exists. I really am.
I agree. 100% agree. And I think because she's good in the ring and
Yes.
outside the ring.
Yes.
And on the mic and on the vignettes. And like you said, great when and with the kids. And listen, she's at airports, sometimes to her detriment, signing all this stuff for people, and she gets overwhelmed. So yeah, I mean, like, she has given so much to the business, and she's great all around. And so I can't wait until they put the title back on her where it belongs.
It'll happen.
With the real
Mr. I crap and shits. Hey, happy Labor Day, guys. Are there any YouTubers that make you want to reach to the screen and choke? For me, it's Den of Nerds. I like Josh. I don't mind Josh. He's always been good to me. He stokes the division in Star Wars fandom, and this time he named Rocha as a reason this time. Oh, I didn't see that.
What?
I don't get into the drama of it all too. So I don't when it comes to YouTubers, no. As I've gotten into my later years, I don't do that. When I see people doing videos or tagging me or something too, they've either been muted or I don't get into it. If that's what gets people excited to do, if they want to have videos against somebody and they do those things, then that's on them. I don't do that. I don't get into that. I don't care about it. Like I said, Josh has always been good to me, is nice to me. So I don't know what he said about John. I have no idea.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, Josh and I, well, from what last I checked, Josh and I follow each other on Twitter, and or whatever it's called this week. If he wanted to tag me, I've asked to be on his show. Okay. So if Small Balls couldn't call me to be on his show to go back and forth about Star Wars, that's Small Balls' problem. So I don't have an issue with it. If you want to tag me, I'm happy to come on your show. Come on, let's have a debate. Unless you don't want to debate, then that's cowardly and that's a separate conversation. But I have a DM right now I can copy and show people where I've asked to come on his show. So
let's not do dramas.
I've never had any issues with Josh, so I'm surprised that he would say anything without at least talking to me first about it. But,
well, John, you have a YouTube channel. What's going on your channel?
Yeah, you can head on over to youtube.com/John Rocha says, look, I don't trade in the drama on my channel. I don't have time to watch other people's content, clip it out, and put together a whole diatribe. I got no time for that. I got a million things I'm doing, multiple revenue streams. So, but if you want to have some fun content, head on over to youtube.com/John Rocha says. We got the Geek Buddies, we got the Hot Mic, we got the Jedi Way, we've got Spill the Tequila, we got my stuff going on with reviews and reactions and all of that stuff happening. And every once in a while, I can convince Kristian to come on the channel. It's always fun. So yeah, that's going on there. Plus, our wrestling is back every Saturday doing the ring general stuff with Aaron Turner and Chris Burns. So come and hang out with us there. And I'm sorry I don't trade in the drama. I wish I could.
Thank you, John, for joining us here today.
Guys.
Thank you guys, for being here today. And we did it. We did our first official show as the Kristian Harloff Show. And we will be doing this show daily. Not yet, though. I got to get everybody on the I got to find everybody scheduled. Like I said, I think Roxy and Brett will be on Tuesdays. Not tomorrow. I got to give Roxy and Brett some time to get ready, get their schedules ready before we can launch. I'll have an official date when we're going 5 days a week. For now, it'll definitely be me and John on Mondays. Wednesday is going to be Steph and Mike. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get Mike on Wednesdays. Thursday, there's going to be a new crew. I don't know who yet. And then Friday will be Capes and Cows. So, yeah, we got a lot. And then obviously I'm going to be doing the movie reactions. I got stuff coming out. We're doing shooting the first one tomorrow with myself and Matt Sarah. Hopefully get that on the channel this week. I look to air those on Thursdays. This show will always be on, by the way. The Kristian Harloff Show will always be on 10 a.m. PST and 1 p.m. EST for everybody. That's what it's going to start to be daily. And then I'm going to do like 2 or 3 clip outs of this show, I think, a day. But I'm also going to have my out of the theater reactions, my movie reviews. I'll also do the, like I said, the movie reactions are probably going to be on Thursday morning, I assume, maybe Thursday afternoon. I don't know yet. I got to figure it out. Maybe if it's Thursday, it'll probably be maybe like Thursday at like 9 a.m. EST to give people a lead up to get into this show. So we got a lot going here. We got a lot that we're working on. So thanks for joining us here today. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to help us out, and again, let's see. That's it. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And you guys are the best. Peace out. What the hell's that? Oh, come on. We were having a good time here until Turtle or Roosk showed up. Thanks for being here, guys. And that's it. So I think I got it this time. You guys rule. See ya.